Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Brookfield Board of Selectmen's meeting for August 16th, 2022. Please rise. Say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we are going to start with formal recognition of one of the longest standing members of our contributing portion of Brookfield's community today. I'd like to take this moment to remind everybody to silence your devices, please. Okay. I just want to say this is a recognition that's well deserved. I'd like to ask Adam to share just a little bit of Chief Martell's experience and service so far to the town.
It's quite lengthy, but I'll read it. So tonight we congratulate Chief Peter Martell on his years of service to the town of Brookfield. In his career, Chief Martell has served in many capacities, including, there are many, Civil Defense Director in 1985 at the age of 18, which was reportedly the youngest in the state at the time, EMS in February of 1986, EMT November 1986, firefighter February of 1988, was one of the original members of the Board of Directors of the Municipal-Run Regional Dispatch Center in 1989, which was eventually taken over by the state police in 1994. EMS captain since June of 1991. Paramedic since February of 1995, the second paramedic in Brookfield. Has been full-time since July of 1999. He has his associate's degree in fire science from May of 1993. Has been captain, or was captain, starting in January 1995. Chief since June of 1997. And he is also currently the Emergency Management Director. And as seen throughout the town and by the gathering today, Chief Martell is well known, well respected by all those who have interacted with them, as well as those who just know of him and hear of the name and hear of the Brookfield Fire and EMS departments. We again congratulate you on your dedication to the town and departments, and wish you many more good years of service to the town.
And with this, there's a certificate as well as a memento for 25 years as chief. Right, so. And I also just want to thank you, because you've been one of those people who, not just with your involvement, but your willingness to bear forward the history, as well as have some vision for where we need to go as a community. So I just want to thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
Getting some of us new folk on board. So.
I'm going to lose the source in a minute, but I figure where to attribute it. But what a long, strange trip it's been. It started out simple enough, just wanted to help out. Over the years, all the faces that I'm looking at, and a lot more that have lost a few, we've gained quite a few. I wouldn't have been able to do this without the people that have served under me, served with me, been there for me, in the field, in this room, everywhere. It's been an honor. Patients all the time. Oh, when are you retiring? When are you stopping? I just that's it. And not really, the newer EMTs will still kind of groan, because they'll show up on scene without me or some of the other senior members. Oh, where are they? Where's Pete? Where's Donna? Well, there are other people on the squad. It's part of it. But it's a double-edged part of working in your hometown, the town you love. Is you're serving the people that you know, your townspeople, but at the same time, as you lose them, it's a bit out of you. But wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't know how much more I've got to go, but here we are, so, thank you.
Well done.
Alright, you get to dismiss them.
I get to dismiss them. I do want to thank actually all of you for coming out and helping with the recognition, and I think it really, it's this level of support, it's nice to see it for a happy reason. Let me just put it that way. It's awesome to be able to come out and celebrate as a group, right, and recognize the hard work, the service, the contribution, and really the mentorship, right? I mean, like you said, you've been doing this for a long time. There's a number of experienced faces in this group, but there's a number of younger faces in this group that are kind of the future of the paramedic and fire service for Brookfield. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of it. There's not a lot of communities that can claim that, and a lot of that, you know, they say people like they take jobs but they leave managers, right? We're one of the communities that still has a relatively thriving service with regards to the volunteerism with our firefighters and our paramedics. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And it's up to y'all if you want to watch all the exciting stuff that we will do after this. So. That is great.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the most important announcement we had. We do have a number of other announcements. One of them, it has to do with the openings that we have on predominantly employment opportunities as well as committee openings. So let me start with the committee openings. I spoke a little bit about volunteerism and how we do have, relative to other small communities, a relatively strong level of willingness to serve for EMT and fire. One of the areas where we're struggling, like many communities, is for the volunteer staffed committees. Some of those include the advisory committee. We have 2 openings out of the 7 positions. For the cable advisory committee, we have 2 openings as well. Capital improvement planning committee, we have 4 openings. Conservation commission, and this is really difficult because we had rebuilt conservation commission, and they did a lot of good work, but we are now down to 2 people on conservation commission, and that's one that we really need functioning for, really for us to be able to do the day-to-day business. I mean, fundamentally,
As it stands now, we do not have a committee that can act because we have voted a 7-member committee and 2 is not a quorum. We need a minimum of 2 volunteers before the Conservation Commission can do anything.
okay.
And so as it stands, if anybody applies to the town, they have to wait 21 days because there's no one who has the authority to act. Then appeal the non-action to DEP and wait for DEP, who has then a 90-day turnaround. So this is gonna be detrimental to anyone who is seeking conservation approval of a project because it's going to be, you know,
That's a lot.
a
Yeah.
very, very long road to get any action. So it would be really wonderful if anyone could step up for Concom.
For Concom,
Yeah.
okay. So, so fundamentally, if we were gonna focus on one particular space, that's the one that we need in order for us to be able to do business. Okay. Council on the Aging, we do have 1 opening.
Ah, maybe not,
Maybe
because
not.
the wonderful Miss Mary Lou Knight has offered to be on that committee.
Have you really? Outstanding. So I guess the next meeting will be doing the appointment.
It has been sent to be placed on the agenda. Yes, she said it. I
Outstanding.
ran to the office and put it on the agenda.
Fair enough. Let me know if you want to read 21 pages of wetlands documentation as well.
Did you give the T-shirt back?
Okay. We've got the Historical Public Records Committee, 2 openings. Local Public Access Committee, 6 openings. Quabog Valley Community Development Representative, 1. Source Water Protection Committee, 7. And Zoning Board of Appeals, 1. And then for employment opportunities, these are paid positions within the town. We've got the All Boards Clerk. The All Boards Clerk is a 15-hour-a-week position, Tuesday through Thursday. Applications are open until the position is filled. And anybody who would be interested in that should submit a letter of interest and resume to the town administrator at townadministrator@brookfieldma.us. And the job description is available under employment opportunities at brookfieldma.us. We've got a position for a full-time highway worker that is also open until filled. Those job applications should go to highway@brookfieldma.us or call 508-867-8357. Again, the job description is under employment opportunities on our website. And then we are looking for 2 full-time police officers. Those resumes and cover letters or letters of interest should go to Chief Blanchard at mblanchard@brookfieldma.us or call 508-867-5570. And we are an equal opportunity affirmative action employer. We assure you that your opportunity for employment with the town will be based only on your merit without regard to race, religion, sex, age, national origin, or disability, unless there's a explicit physical requirement for the job that can't be accommodated. So, those are our announcements for today. We have the warrants that were signed. The first one was for 7/13/22 for $115.05. An additional warrant was a correction for 7/13/22 for negative $227.20. We have an expense warrant for 7/26/22 for $316,620.24. We have a payroll warrant for 7/26/22 for $204,773.76. Withholding warrant for 7/27/22 for $72,153.61. Expense warrant for 8/9/22 for $127,687.93. A payroll warrant for 8/10/22 for $155,032.41, and then a withholding warrant for 8/10/22 for $27,379.14. And so that's the report on the warrants. And so we're gonna move on to new business, the first being the senior center report from our Citizen Action Committee. Mr. Eaton, would you care to come on up?
If you have the letter, if you go to the second page, I just want to acknowledge publicly the 13 people, Sally Brown, Barbara Clancy, Rudy Heller, Pat King, Mary Lou Knight, Megan Metz, Lois O'Leary, Brenda Parrish, Bill Simpson Jr., Clarence Snyder, Don Taft, and Bernard Turner. They worked diligently over 3 months during the summer, when it's kind of tough to get people to come to meetings. Every week we had a meeting. And I'm convinced that most of those people on that committee were committed to going forward to the select board, making a recommendation or suggestion that they appoint a committee to look at the feasibility of building a senior center at Hayden, Lincoln Street Extension, or some other site. But most of those people were committed to that, including me. But after those meetings, they investigated 19 sites as possible location, including Hayden and Lincoln Street Extension. And that group visited 7 senior centers in the area, had intensive interviews with those senior centers, and found out what programs work best, what's the best business design, what it costs to run a senior center. Very thorough interviews. And after those sessions, they come to the realization we probably had the cart before the horse. We need to really focus on creating and implementing programs that are adaptable or acceptable to seniors rather than building a structure. We also recognize that if we're not going to build a structure, we need a place to congregate. And at one of the latter meetings, the Congregational Church offered their site, the basement of the Congregational Church, initially every Tuesday morning for a site, potentially to expand that. That location can accommodate over 70 people. It has a full functioning kitchen. It won't be disruptive to the town hall where we're trying to do business activities here, where people are walking past seniors having their toenails clipped or doing Tai Chi or whatever. So that was a great, and so I'd like to acknowledge the Congregational Church for making that offer. One of the people on the committee documented that we have, at that time, 1,089 seniors in this town over 60 years old, about a third of our population. They have made a significant financial contribution to this town. You talk about volunteerism before. They've also been a significant part of our volunteer corps. So I think, to briefly summarize, I hope that the select board, the financial committee, the town will not only give the moral support, but the financial support to the Council on Aging, the new director, as they move forward to trying to create programs for this most deserving segment of our community. If you got any questions, but I think they did an extraordinary job. I think we made the right suggestion. It's up to you guys to decide what you're going to do, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And by the way, very, very happy to have Mary Lou Knight participating in the Council on Aging. She has been, during these conversations we've had, she has been an asset as well as Don, too. So they're a good team.
So, first of all, thank you to you and to everybody who put the effort in. I think we gained a lot from making it an independent action committee and giving you all the freedom to go do the work and come back with a recommendation. And, you know, functionally what it sounds like we're taking the right steps, just, we have the right vector, just maybe not the right velocity given how much of the town is seniors, right? Yeah. So we've gotten by with volunteers in the Council on the Aging for a number of years. We're entering a period where we've just now got our first, director on board. And I think it's one of those items, and I think we've even had a similar conversation with the folks who are supporting the foundation anniversary, is that if we have the content that we know we need to support, then we can plan the budget around the content, right? So, and it's one of those chicken or eggs things, and you've been on the financial committees, so you have to have the plan in order to then fund the plan. So I think by having the new director, by trying to reinvigorate the question of what do the seniors need and the work that you all did, it provides that framework for us to go say, okay, what are those services we need to offer? What's the resources required to offer those services, right? So, and I think that this is a good starting point. So what I can commit to is fundamentally, so long as the director and the council on the aging come forward with a plan, and we identify what those resources are that we need and execute against the plan, then there's no reason for us not to allocate what we need to.
We should.
Yeah. So,
We should.
but we have to start by having what does it need to look like? And I really appreciate what the fact that the Congregational Church has been a good neighbor in terms of supporting the community, for these type of activities that are just good, being good neighbors and being part of the community. So it's awesome that they're willing to share that resource with us. So.
Well, you got a good core of people that are interested.
Right.
We should lean on them a little bit, and
Absolutely.
and the Council on Aging. So, but I got to tell you, I was impressed by the group, and I got to reiterate that, because we had a mindset that we were going to build a senior center.
Gonna build it and they'll come.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They will come. We did a study in 2017, said let's build one, and
Yeah.
but it's not. You got to have a good program.
Right.
And the data we collected on the siting, the data we collected on what's a good senior center do and what works well, whether it's communications, it's data collection, so forth, is invaluable to the people as we move forward with the program. The other thing I'd like to say is I'd never been in a senior center, believe it or not, before this. I was, quite frankly, impressed and startled about the magnitude of the work that's
The endeavor
required.
to run one.
Whether it's financial, whether it's data collection, whether it's working with volunteers, how do you get money from the supporting communities like the Lions Club, all those things. It's a complex process. So the Council on Aging and the new director is gonna have a challenge.
Right.
So your support is what they need.
Right. So,
Thank you for your time.
thank you. Okay. All right. So we have a comprehensive emergency management plan for review today. And this is
Not the plan.
not the plan.
No. I believe Peter emailed the plan to you at one point. It's been reviewed. It's an update of the previous emergency management plan with dates and different things changed.
Okay.
So it's just making it current to meet the state standards.
Right. Have we scheduled a time to go over the plan with any key players within the community?
The emergency management plan? No,
Yeah.
that would be Peter, is emergency management director, that would be his function.
Okay. Could you just ask them?
Sure.
When they're scheduled to review the update with at least the department heads, I would think, and then any critical players in the plan fundamentally?
Okay, I believe this plan is more of an action
Regionalized?
plan for emergency response in disaster
Mhm.
situations.
Right, but some of it, but
So the
typically,
department heads, although I'm sure would be interested, I don't see what the tax collector, the assessor, and the treasurer
okay,
would
so I was being, I was
fundamentally
being,
have
I was
anything.
being a little too broad in my
Okay.
term. I was thinking more department heads in terms of fire, highway, police.
It was sent to all of them to review before it was submitted for your signature.
Right.
So, but you want him to meet with them too?
What I'd kinda like is, and it may be part of the plan, and shame on me because I recall getting it, I don't know that I got all the way through it. It's a bias towards a sand table. When you publish a document like this, you at least do at least a single face-to-face walkthrough with everybody that,
Okay.
that has a role that's within the confines of the organization.
Okay.
Cause people can email it and they can say, yeah, I read it, I'm okay with it, but doing even like an hour-long dry run where we say, hey, tornado hits, you know, here's who's on first, has some value. So I would just, like, if we're adopting it, I would like us to do a dry run fundamentally.
Okay.
So just put it on the calendar, even if it's like once a quarter we get together and talk about a different disaster, or we do it at, even if it's only of mild interest, maybe at the tail end of a department head meeting, we keep everybody after class that has a role in it for like 15 or 20 minutes, and we go over
I like
one.
that idea because they're a captive audience.
Right, so they're coming anyway, so we can, and then anybody who wants to stay, even if they're not, like, even if they're not a key player, right? If they know what the plan is and they have the resources and the capability, a lot of those plans include leveraging like knowledgeable volunteers in the community.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I'm sure our assessor doesn't have a role, but I'm sure if the creek started to rise, I think that Al would be there with a truck and a shovel and sandbags if we
He
asked him to.
absolutely would. And I
Okay.
don't think we'd even have to ask him.
Right,
because
as long as he
would
knew where to
just be
show up.
there. Yeah.
So
yeah.
fundamentally, let's maybe incorporate into the tail end of the department
Yeah,
head
that's a
meetings,
great
just
idea.
going over a little bit of a sand table run with it. So, can I get a motion to adopt that comprehensive emergency management plan?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the comprehensive emergency management plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. And this is where we say that we've reviewed it and acknowledged our department's role in it, so. Looks like the only signatures on here is us, the fire chief and the police chief. I would have expected highway, because I would expect that there are times when their equipment resources are
I
pretty
think
critical.
this is set up through the state.
Okay.
So the signatures are what the signatures are, but if not, I'll make sure.
Okay, great.
What's the date today? The 16th.
Yeah. Okay, great. So that is at least incorporated there. Next item is possible appointment of cable studio coordinator, Matthew DeCicero.
So you have Mr. DeCicero's information in your packets.
Yep.
He is not here.
Or DeCicero, I'm sorry.
DeCiro? Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
Yep.
I don't attempt names. I'm not good at that. So I just go with what I hear. He is very qualified for the position. The position's been advertised for a month. He is the only applicant. Fortunately for us, he is extremely qualified. We determined at the personnel board meeting that it was a grade 4. We did not set a salary at that time because we didn't have the chart with us to figure out where it would fall. But after doing a little bit of review, I'm thinking $24 an hour, that's between 19 and 26.
Okay.
And we can bump it up to 26. It will shorten the number of hours available. I don't know how we want to set the hours for this position. If they're a set number of hours, or just work as many hours as you can until we get caught up and then level out.
Yeah, I would think that
This
that's
is,
what we wanna do.
this is what your total hours within the year, within this confine, so we need you to keep track of those and we'll pay you accordingly. Work
Right.
at your own pace. Please get this done within set deadlines. I'm not sure. We don't have a cable committee, so
Right.
there isn't really
Yep.
a cable committee for this person to report to, so they would be reporting
Reporting to us.
to you. And so those are parameters that we need to set, and if you're amenable to the hourly rate, if you wanna choose one, we can offer Mr. DeCiro the position. He met with Sharon and went over the studio with her, and he seems to be a good fit.
Okay. Is 24, do we know, is 24 in line with what Brookfield is paying?
Actually, he didn't say what Brimfield was paying, so I have no idea.
Okay. 'Cause that seems like an appropriate level to start at.
Hmm.
I'm not really familiar.
I'm not familiar with.
Because no one applies for these positions, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
Right,
Cable is not something that is, I believe, going to be around for much longer, as reflected in the cable contracts,
Yep.
where
Yes.
it's based on user fees, so the funding isn't
but then
necessarily.
we're gonna have to figure out as a community.
The streaming,
The streaming
aspect and the
aspect of
different
it.
technologies,
Right.
so,
It's gonna just shift.
Yes, it's-
Responsibilities are essentially gonna shift over to more like, instead of cable coordinator in a way.
it'll
it's-
be more of a streaming.
Yeah, it's more like, live streaming
Yeah.
coordinator in a sense.
Right,
Yeah, telecommunications
Yeah, kinda.
position.
yeah,
Except without the
Tele.
tele.
kind of a media.
It could
Yeah,
be a-
media communication.
Communications director, yeah.
Media manager.
Well,
rather
but
than-
anyway, be that as it may, so
Right.
we need a salary set by you, the board, which will then be presented to the personnel board.
How many hours is it?
Depends on how much you wanna pay them.
Oh, okay. I don't know if there was already a set hour.
We have, no, because there's a lot of initial work.
It's a lot of front
Setting,
loaded.
saying, you're gonna work 10 hours a week, then
Right,
finding
So-
out that in order to catch up, he needs 20 hours a week for the first 3 months, and then it's gonna be 7 hours a week after that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'd rather see it this much time within a year, or this much salary within a year at this rate.
Mhm.
These are the hours that you have available, use them
Right.
as appropriate,
Yep.
right? Because town meeting might take up a heck of a lot more time,
right.
and editing and
So-
putting all the YouTube videos, the
That's
videos
gonna
up on
take-
YouTube is gonna be very
That's gonna take a
labor
lot of time.
intensive as well.
Especially the upfront part of that.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's
So-
gonna be loaded on the front end.
So for the grade, the grade has a range of 19 to 26.
Correct.
So I think coming in at 24 at a starting point, given 13 years of experience and what appears to be his other credentials, I think that's a good recommendation. What do you think?
Yeah.
So do you want to make a motion to approve his appointment conditionally at $24 an hour with pending the approval of the personnel board?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to, what is it?
Appoint him.
To appoint Matthew DeCiro as the cable studio coordinator at a rate of $24 an hour pending the personnel board review.
Second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then,
That equates out to approximately 833 hours for the fiscal year.
okay, so that actually works out well, because that keeps it below the, what is it, like 880? That,
Well, if it was a full year, it would be 16 hours a week, but we're
right,
gonna be 3 months in before he starts.
right,
So, we've got
Okay.
July, August, and we're going into September. So it won't exceed the full-time mark.
right, that's.
But he
what I
has a
said.
full-time job, which he has every intention of keeping, so I don't
Right.
anticipate that he will be.
That's a problem, this is a second
That he will
job.
be able to devote that kind of time.
Right, okay, great.
But at least that wiggle room is there, should extra time be needed,
Mhm.
which is good.
Okay, great. So,
And if he needs more hours, and we can always, because this is cable access money, this is not tax dollars. At this time, we can then appropriate a larger time slot for next year,
Right.
using cable access money.
Yep.
right. So, great. Okay, that's done. Next item is, fishing derby restrictions for the boat ramp.
Yes, so. I'm gonna say Skip Nelson,
Skip.
because I don't know, is Carl his first name?
Yes.
Carl, okay, thank you. Came to me and had noted that during fishing events and in general down at the pond, the people are power loading their boats, which is scrubbing out
Right.
the subsurface at the base of the ramp, which is creating a drop. So the people are backing in, their trailers are dropping, their vehicles are dropping into the lake because of the degradation of the base of the ramp. So what he had suggested, first he informed me that it's illegal to power load your boat onto your trailer in Massachusetts because it undermines the ramp and digs big holes in the lake bottom at the ramp's edge. And this is an email from him, because power loading seems to be the practice of many, not all fishermen. It may help to reduce the practice if the tournament organizers are asked or required to police the ramp as a requirement or condition of the permit that they seek from the town of Brookfield to have a tournament. And he said that he expects that many fishermen don't even realize that power loading can be a problem or that it's actually illegal. And the tournament organizers may just have to let them know that to prevent it. So he suggested the following language be added to fishing derbies for the town as a permanent restriction, that you must inform all participants that power loading your boat onto the trailer is not allowed and is illegal in Massachusetts. So that is basically what this is about, and he would like to ask that you please move to add that language as a permanent restriction to fishing derbies.
Do we know, is that a true statement that power loading is illegal in Massachusetts?
I do not know if that is a true statement. I did not research that.
Okay.
What was that again, please?
That power loading, is power loading legitimately illegal in Massachusetts?
Yes, it is. It's actually posted at the boat ramp.
Okay,
It's part of the Fish and Wildlife Boater Access requirements.
okay.
So it is on their side. So that would be in compliance with,
Yep.
So I think we can put it right up there with no littering, please police the area after you, I think the only current statement we have on our permits is to police your trash after the event.
Yes, for ice fishing.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, so
But what happened to any permits that have already been
issued.
issued? It wouldn't apply to that?
Well,
Well, I mean,
it's
it
actually,
does 'cause it's on the
if
sign.
it's actually on the sign at the boat
Yeah.
ramp, I find it a little frustrating that we even have to go through this. But it's an
Yeah.
additional reminder to the organizers to police their people.
Yeah, I mean, and I think
So-
I don't think that's a problem.
I don't think
It
that's an
shouldn't be.
unreasonable request at
No.
all.
No,
so I think it's a reasonable request. However, that's only reaching those that are requesting a special use permit. There are more and more larger boats which are harder to float than the bass boats that are there every day. So it really requires boater access to step up and ensure that the people that are using the state boat ramp are following their very own regulations.
so you're recommending we contact the state and warn them that this is happening?
And to be honest with you, they've been down there twice this year, which is the first time I've seen that happen in quite some time. Normally, they might show up and sit in their truck. This year, they actually did monitoring of boaters. At one Sunday morning, there were probably a dozen boats waiting to be launched as they inspected them. And I think that's great. And yeah, it's a state boat ramp, and they should monitor their own ramp.
Yeah.
So,
So,
I
I think
wonder,
that's,
I wonder how many ramps are actually usable at the state in the drought as well.
ooh,
And if that is, like, if it is one of the few that's maybe still usable, that it's just, the extra traffic is just gonna cause extra damage.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
It just, if that's one of the few ramps maybe still usable because of the drought conditions around here, if
that's why
the
we're
extra
seeing bigger
traffic,
boats.
yeah, that's why I was maybe seeing bigger boats, which will then cause additional damage.
No,
Which it just kinda escalates.
South Pond is getting some very big boats, and
Yeah.
there was probably a 24-footer out there the other day, and it amazes me that they could get it off the trailer.
Wow.
Probably they could get
That's
it off
crazy.
the trailer because they've scoured the end of the ramp, so,
Oh,
so
dear.
it does
Yeah.
drop off.
Yeah,
But that and jet skis, and really they have to power on almost from a jet ski.
Yep.
right. Okay. All right, so I think we can add that verbiage. Do we need a vote to add it, or is the discussion sufficient?
You should actually vote to add that to all Derby, applications going forward.
I'll make a motion that we add the verbiage as read and according to the sign that's posted at the ramp, that we add that to all applications for, special use permits.
Yep, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next one is, signing the state primary warrant? Or are we just ratifying the signatures on that?
Karen?
Adam didn't sign, that's why it was kept on the agenda.
Ah, okay,
We're waiting for Adam to sign
okay.
it.
okay, so can I get a motion to sign the, state primary warrant?
I'll make a motion that I sign the state primary warrant.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the next item is, signed cemetery deeds. We've got, lot 13C, lot 31, section E, lot 15, section E, of Brookfield Cemetery. So can we get a motion to, sign the 3 cemetery deeds?
I'll make a motion that we sign the 3 cemetery deeds as read.
Right. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It took me a minute to find this, but anyway, here are the boat regulations, the state boat regulations, and rule number 19. Load or unload powered watercraft onto or off a powered boat trailer by means of propeller systems is a violation of posted management measures.
Oh, now I know what that is. I didn't know what power loading was until you read that description by using the propellers. Thank you.
That's what I get for assuming, but for once I was right. Okay. So, can I get a motion to delegate authority to, Kelly, the town administrator, to sign any contracts previously discussed by the board?
I'll make a motion that we delegate authority to Town Administrator Kelly A. Robbins to sign contracts as previously, or to sign contracts previously discussed by the board.
I'll second it, and just for conversation, so fundamentally, anything that we've discussed and at least voted in the affirmative, even if we don't have the paperwork in front of us, so
Correct,
long
so-
as the contract is in line with what the intent of the vote was.
Yes, those are the ones. For instance, the CDBG grant for Green Street has been discussed repeatedly at meetings, and we applied for the grant, and now it's a matter of following through on going out, doing the RFQ, going out to bid, making sure that, you know, things are
In line with
in
what
line
the,
with what the project is.
right,
Rather than having them wait. So for instance, if this meeting had been canceled, we don't have one next week or the week after or the week after. So it'd be 4 weeks before you could sign the contract. This will just alleviate that
that's,
time gap.
that type of time gap,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that we can actually do business in the town,
In a timely manner.
in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Outstanding, all right.
Do
So
we need to vote?
We do,
just did the
so
motion.
we did the motion in a second, I did the conversation actually where it belonged after the motion for a change, sorry, was trying to get it procedurally
fine.
right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so let's go ahead and, we've got the CDBG FY '21 CDF invoice, which is, bottom line total of $5,651.98 for, labor relative to, this one was the
This is the Green Street project.
Green Street project, yep. All right, can I get a motion to, sign that?
Yep, I'll make a motion that we sign the CDBG FY '21 program invoice.
Right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we have, looks like, we're making some traction on minutes. So we've got the select board minutes of 6:14, 7:05, 6:2, and 7:27.
I'll make a motion that we approve those select board minutes as were read and are noted.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we've got the electric contract offering. And Kelly, you were gonna kind of take a point on that.
In light of what's going on with energy and fuel supply chains, I thought it would be a good idea to lock in a price for the town's energy use, so electricity and natural gas. I'm working with a broker from Yulon Energy, and he went out to bid on behalf of Brookfield. They came back with a 3-year contract to begin in February, because we needed to loop the school in to get the lower rate because of their usage, and they're in a contract that expires in February.
Okay.
So it'll start in February, it'll be 36 months, and it will be 0.16407 cents per kilowatt hour. We currently pay approximately 10 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yep.
It's anticipated at this time that it will go up to 25 cents.
Yep.
So we're rolling the dice on the next 6 months,
Okay.
before the contract will take effect. I would like to lock the price in, just because between the time they gave me the original, they're like, well, you can sign it. I said, no, I'm not signing this. This is for the selectmen to sign. They need to hear about this and discuss it, and they need to be on board with this. Well, the rates are gonna change. You gotta sign it right now. I said, I'm aware the rates are gonna change, and the answer is still no.
No.
So they re-quoted today. They will hold the quote until tomorrow morning, if you're willing to accept the 16 cents. It was 12 cents when they sent it to me before. So every day we wait is
It goes up.
It goes up.
is gonna be an issue. The natural gas energy, they gave us 54 cents for, what the heck is the term? Hold on a minute, I have to think of the term that we used. Should be in my paperwork somewhere, that I actually just brought out here. I think that's a typo, but they put it in a contract.
54 cents.
54 cents.
That's,
So.
Per
I
what?
feel like it was supposed to be $5.40.
Give me a second, I gotta find the terminology.
That's crazy.
Where did I put it? I just had it a second ago. One moment, please. I probably stuck it in the back of the wrong folder, because I thought I had it with me in my hand and I didn't. Aha, here we are. Per therm, 54 cents per therm is the way it's measured.
Okay.
Yeah. but it's a crazy low price. And I'm not a scientist and cannot explain what therm is. I can get it in writing and send it to you if that's all right. But I think that is an absolute must. Those prices haven't been that low for probably 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So if you would.
Oh, okay. It's a unit of heat equivalent to 100,000 BTU.
Thanks. I still don't know what that means, but.
Approximately the energy content of 100 cubic feet. I don't know. No idea.
Still don't know.
So
Heard
what
all
they do
those
is they
words.
take all of the gas bills and they see what you're using
Right.
for energy, and then they
Yeah.
do the math and
They do a
give you a price
calculation.
based on the therms that you used.
Right.
Yeah, how much energy it took to heat 100 cubic feet.
Right.
Yeah.
So this
So this
is a crazy low price.
54 cents to heat 100 cubic feet,
Okay.
if I understood that correctly.
Yes, I believe that is exactly what that means. So I would recommend that you approve both energy contracts. The one for the gas and for the electricity, and even though we'll be paying, I don't know what we'll be paying up to February, because with winter coming, it could skyrocket, but at least it'll be completely level for 3 years
That is
at
one good
16
thing,
cents.
is that you know what it's always gonna, like,
Right.
And
personally, I never lock into anything, just because I guess I kind of.
you like to gamble.
To play, yeah, to roll the dice on it, but
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't buy
not.
scratch tickets either, because I just can't do it. I know, I need to know.
Nice.
But it is a lot easier to plan and budget when you know exactly
Yeah,
Right.
how much you're going to pay over a
And,
set period.
and then fundamentally, if we have a set price for what it's gonna cost us, then we can look at conservation measures, cause I look up here and I don't think those are LEDs.
we
No,
can
but
look at conservation measures, and
usually the
that's
first step.
definitely a good step. I think our very first conservation measure should be insulation for this building. There is
Yes.
zero
Yes.
insulation. You walk up into the attic, and it's nothing but rafters and roof.
Yep.
There's nothing in the roof of
I
this
wonder if, because I know National Grid through Mass Save, they do
Mhm.
the stuff for homes. They
We
also
had
do
them
them
in,
for
they
business.
never came back.
Okay, yeah.
They never came
I
back.
told them,
It's
they
probably-
came in and they said, we wanna do LEDs, and I said, LEDs are not the problem today, we need insulation because we need to
Yeah.
contain
The
the
heat that we
energy
have.
that we're
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
Talk to me about insulation. Okay, they went up in the attic, they did
Mhm.
measurements, never heard from them again.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
So can we get somebody in prior to winter to see how much it would cost to do the
We could, but we don't necessarily have any funding for a project
Yeah.
of that nature. I'm not sure if the town hall improvement committee is prepared to,
sacrifice
be
the budget?
waylaid and sacrifice their budget for this, because it was never mentioned to anyone.
Yeah.
But I agree that we do need to make energy conservation, I was actually, had Kathy looking for grants
Mhm.
of some nature, and even the green community grants won't let you put insulation in with their money. They just want you to do lighting. They don't want electricity, they want you switching over to non-fossil fuels regardless of the cost.
Yep.
And, you know, I've dealt with that program in 3 different towns, and it's never saved a dime.
No. it doesn't.
Well, I guess my question is, can we get a quote so we at least know how much it is, so that if nothing else, we put
Well, we
it
know
on
how
for
much
next
it is today, but our budget isn't for another year, so what's it gonna, we'd be better off to find out how much it would be closer to budget time.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Because the way things are, the economy is, the price today may not be valid in 3 months or 4 months, or.
It
or
won't be valid
definitely won't be valid by the time of town meeting, and we can't expect a company to lock in that price at this time.
No, they won't.
Okay.
So, but that's another subject, so this is just like basically, do you want these, to take these energy savings, or?
I think for the sake of predictability,
Mm. unfamiliar with natural gas prices, as I don't use
Well,
natural gas, and
it's all-
electricity, I
it's
use
all-
solar.
It's all very cyclic.
It
It's
is.
just,
Yeah,
it's,
but-
it's all very cyclic, and,
I've
and,
just-
and we
I'll
had the
send
same,
you
we had
I
the same
have
question.
charts
We had the s-
showing you what it's doing in Europe and what it's doing here. And how
Yeah,
it
I
goes
know
up
it's
and-
going crazy.
And how they track each other, and then it shows you by season and year over the last 3 years how it's gone,
Right.
and it's gone like this,
Pretty much going straight up,
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
weird steps.
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So,
In particular, and the challenge is, right, is that natural gas is one of the things we do well, but with the Russians being all kind of crazy.
so do we
It's gonna
lock
be
it in,
years.
because we might not, the prices might be crazy because of supply and demand, our supply is going overseas. So do we lock in the price?
Right. And where do we stand right now on the cost of our energy that comes from the solar farm? Like, where does that fit? Is it roughly in the same category as how much they're asking for us for this?
So the way it
Yeah.
works is our supplier, we would still be paying for the energy from the solar fields. Those credits that we're buying
Mm-hmm.
are then applied to the electric bill, but it would be applied at the new rate as opposed to what the rate will be in February. So the credits are still gonna come off,
Just at a different rate.
just at a different
They're
rate.
gonna come out at the rate that we're, of what we're paying for energy,
Mhm.
instead
Right,
of what
that-
the
well,
market
that-
rate is.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So unit for unit, we're still, it still,
It's-
it works the same way.
It works exactly the same way.
Okay. All right. I don't know how we say no fundamentally, because if nothing else, the uncertainty factor
Yeah.
is just abysmal.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years from now, if for some reason all of a sudden there's a glut on the energy market, we'll probably regret it, but hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it makes planning easier.
Yeah, any comments from the attendees, all two of you?
I mean, what's gonna go down? What,
Well,
Energy
well,
prices are not gonna go
the
down.
only reason why I'm hesitant is the last time we signed a 3-year contract, for whatever reason, magic happened and the energy market absolutely bottomed out, and we wound up paying 2 to 3x what the market rate was for 2 out of the 3 years. So the only reason I'm hesitant, even though I don't think that would be the case this time, is the fact that historically, you know what, we're gonna sign this because if there's any way to bring the energy prices down for the citizens of Brookfield.
This might do it,
This
right?
might do it.
This might do it. And keep in mind that this does not take effect until February,
Right.
until the school's contract is over.
Right, and they're on board with it.
The natural gas will take effect in September. We pay their energy bill, so regardless, even in their contract they're in now, we pay their energy bill.
Right,
And
for the elementary school,
correct.
right.
Yeah, they're part of a group purchase for the school district, but we pay the bill, which we didn't even know they were part of, even though it's our school and we pay the bill. This was
Is that
discovered
gonna-
during the research for this.
Is that gonna,
this
are they on board with swapping from their buying unit to our buying unit? Or do they not
Well,
have a choice since we pay the bill?
They don't actually have an option in this, and when we spoke with the facilities manager for the district, it doesn't impact their buying because we pay their bill.
Right, okay.
So even though the district got the benefit of the rate, it didn't get reflected on Brookfield's bill because we pay the bill. So, no, we're gonna take them back
Got
and
it.
use them to
To our
get a
advantage
better rate
for us.
for the rest of the town.
Got it.
So,
Okay, sounds like a plan.
So, in previous investigations into this building, the architects have indicated that the type of structure of this wall, this brick wall, is not conducive to providing insulation. So when they do insulation calculations, they do what they call a heat loss study. And through a wall is one calculation through a window is another. Windows typically are your biggest energy hog, and the ceiling or the roof is another calculation. I agree that we certainly should be insulating. The only good thing about the ceiling in this building is that it's 3 stories up and it's basically closed off, so there's not a lot of heat that makes it up there. I think this roof structure is the only thing that could be insulated, other than the windows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you completely, yeah.
But, so the windows are a big energy hog. And we have talked about on the committee going around in the fall and making sure that the windows are closed and locked and the storm windows are down. I mean, that's typically what you do at home. It's certainly what we have to do here. It's a minor way of saving, but it absolutely is necessary. But
I agree completely, but if we're to ever be able to refinish the upstairs at some point and use the upstairs, which we're making strides toward doing, we need to be able to retain the heat up there as well.
Right.
So I think insulating the roof is paramount to that process.
also have huge windows up there.
Yes, they do. That big room has some big old windows, doesn't it?
It does.
We do not want to replace those. Be a fortune to replace
It would be.
windows that size.
All right, can we get a motion then
Yep.
to accept the energy contracts?
I'll make a motion that we accept the energy contracts for
Second.
3 years.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right, we've got 2 items of correspondence. Yeah.
Excuse me, can I want to go back and visit the announcements that you made about committees?
Yes.
Was there an announcement about the master plan committee?
No.
Is there a master plan committee?
No.
I thought that was voted on at the
Oh,
town
dear.
meeting to fund the new master plan. Doesn't that have some legal ramifications?
Okay, so if I may, the master plan is updated under the law by the planning board. I've been working with the planning board. They asked and delegated to me to seek quotes on updating the master plan, which we have. And so it's in the process of getting beyond
We're
just the
outsourcing it.
quote.
Okay.
So,
I thought that there was
and the quote came in within our budget, so I don't see any
Awesome.
reason why we wouldn't be able to proceed. So it's, I let the planning board know, that was where we were at, and.
So there's a
I
plan to
believe
update the plan.
It was discussed at their meeting, their last meeting,
excellent.
so
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
Because the master plan is like 12 years old or
Yeah.
whatever.
Something to that effect, yes.
And it's a prerequisite for a lot of the grants that we
Right.
want to
So-
pursue, so
it's-
we are
it's actually-
pursuing it.
It's in motion. And the hazard mitigation plan is also being updated at the same time. We're looking at a grant to get that completed because it expires next year, so it should be updated prior to its expiration.
Boy, this is why we got a town administrator.
Isn't that cool? Look how fancy that is. So,
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
so, all right, so correspondence. Let's see here, we have a letter from Charter Communications regarding programming changes, so Spectrum LLC, Northeast LLC, Spectrum has been informed that on or around September 1st, TVG located on Spectrum channels 320 and 842 will rebrand as FanDuel TV, and TVG2 located on Spectrum channel 327 will rebrand to FanDuel Racing. To review the current lineup, go to spectrum.com/channels. And if you have any questions, please call John Maher at charter.com 774-243-9735. And then we are invited to the 100th birthday of East Brookfield, which they suspended 5 years of planned events back in 2020, so they're going to be doing their 100th anniversary a couple years late, which is September 17th with a parade at 9:30. Pardon me. Our board is welcome to join their parade and either walk or ride and carry a sign for the town of Brookfield.
Saturday.
Yeah, do you have any interest in representing Brookfield in the East Brookfield celebration? I think they were seceding. I don't know if we really want to celebrate that.
Yeah,
They did secede.
they did secede. Yeah.
They did secede. They successfully succeeded.
Yeah.
Seceded. So you can't even say it.
All the other Brookfields seceded.
Yes, all the other Brookfields
Yeah.
seceded, so.
That's why I always get asked, where's
I think we
South
can
Brookfield?
revisit, I don't know that I have a huge urge, but if we talk about it outside here and decide that we have to support.
I was gonna be there on the sidewalk.
You should be there in the parade.
So you need to be there in the parade.
Represent.
Last time I was in a
You know-
parade, I had
you
to
know
wear a
what?
tux. So.
Even though they seceded, we have a sisterhood with that town.
We do,
And,
you know,
and
that's
we
true.
help each other.
We
And
do.
we work together, and we need each other. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with supporting their anniversary.
No, there's not, I was trying to be funny. So, do we want to go ahead and march along? The
Sure.
1.6
We can ride in a
mile route.
car.
We can ride in a car.
Anybody have a fancy car?
I have a convertible.
Ooh,
Let me rephrase that. I have access to a convertible.
access to a
You
convertible.
guys could ride behind like this.
I just have a pickup.
Right?
That
And we
smells
get,
like horse.
that would be awesome. Y'all could ride in the back,
We can ride in the
Yeah.
back of the
holding a big banner
I-
that
yep.
says Black Sabbath. No, wait,
No.
it says
Brookfield?
Town of
No,
Brookfield.
it would say Motley Crue.
Yeah, Motley Crue supports East Brookfield. Happy
So-
anniversary.
So,
But yeah, I actually think that it would be
cool.
very, very,
Actually, I have a trailer.
it would be really nice if it was supported.
Actually, you know
by
what, I
Brookfield.
wonder if the fire chief would let us borrow the brush truck.
You need a special license? for
No,
that?
you don't, it's
Okay.
small, it's a 1-ton pickup, it's like it doesn't require a commercial driver's license, that's why I
Sweet.
was thinking that, so yeah, maybe we'll come up with a Brookfield town
There we go.
vehicle that we can
We'll do a float.
yeah.
Or you can use the water truck, because the water truck works very closely with these Brookfields.
Oh, that's actually not a bad
We're
idea.
actually just sending out a letter today for a regional water commission meeting with East Brookfield, North Brookfield, and West Brookfield, here in Brookfield, which is our 4th regional meeting to try to share common interest and understand the burdens of running that system. We all do the same thing, maybe a little differently, but
Right.
you need to keep those down, small systems working together.
Have we?
It's very important that we,
So in spite of me, you brought me around full circle.
Okay.
Do any of the other department heads want to support the parade?
that's a good question. They weren't invited, but we can ask.
Oh, it does say honorable
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen,
It
right?
does say
It was just
Honorable
us.
Board of Selectmen, that's correct.
So, I guess we could ask Larry Gordon if, do they want just the selectmen or do they want anything else? Since we've got the water.
Well,
project.
Linda isn't here, appoint her to go.
So, but we'll represent, we'll decide, let them know that probably they'll get at least 2 of us and we don't know whether we're gonna be walking or driving,
Nice,
but,
well done.
we can consider that. Ooh, I was actually supposed to be out of state that weekend. Are you gonna be here?
I'll have just gotten back from my business trip.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So I'll be a little time groggy, but
You'll be time groggy, okay. All right, and I haven't bought my
Just
ticket.
follow the crowd.
And I haven't bought my ticket yet, so I may adjust. I will try to be there. But I need to see if I can get coverage. So, okay. So we'll figure it out. And maybe we'll do your convertible, but if you're willing to drive, then we can.
Unfortunately, my family's doing a golf tournament benefit that day, so
Ah, so you can't.
I will be doing a roulette wheel, selling
Okay, so we will find.
chances to hit a marshmallow from the 8th tee box.
I got a pickup.
You've got to pick
I
up?
got access to a pickup.
You have access to a pickup? We could ask Peter Mezzuzo if.
Yeah, I didn't realize
the
what
old
the
ones
date
still
was,
have.
so.
Yeah, okay. So let them know we'll support, we don't know how many or whether we're walking or driving, but we'll
Okay.
figure it out,
I'll call Joe.
so. All right, anything else? There's nothing else in the packet, so can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:25?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:25.
I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.